Hello, and welcome to our capstone project presentation on the State Employees Credit Union, located on the corner of Providence Road and Allison Drive, Charlotte, North Carolina. The proposed location will be Golf Links Drive, Charlotte, North Carolina. We are KMC Construction, LLC. My name is Colton Ellis, and I'm the project manager assigned to this project. We are also here with Michael Schoen, the site superintendent and lead scheduler, and also Chad Pruner, our lead estimator. Just a general overview of the SECU bidding. The owner is the code enforcement jurisdiction. The square footage of the building is 7,760. The contract stimulated duration amount for the Golf Links Drive road improvement is 120 days with a square footage of 11,720. The contract bid date is December 2nd, 2020. Start date, May 17th, 2021. And we calculated the end date to be around February 27th, 2022. And this is a lump sum type contract. I'm just gonna go over the contract analysis for the building. Of course, there is progress payment submission each month, paid on the 15th day of work for work completion. During the progress payment, the retainage will be held at 10% on estimated amounts until final payment. That is until half of the project is substantially complete. Then we have the option to, with surety and satisfaction from the architect, retainage can be potentially reduced to 5% and can maintain 5% until the project is completed. That is, us GC must request the reduction of retainage. We should receive final payment within 30 days after all work has been completed, and each and every provision of the contract documents complied with to the owners and architect satisfaction. The liquidated damages is $250 each day, according to Article 8. The insurance provided under Article 11 will be employer's liability with $1 million, contractor's liability insurance, workers' comp, $1 million as well. Limits on construction costs to be maintained, general aggregate $2 million, products, completed OPS aggregate $2 million, personal and advertisement and injury $1 million. For each of those occurrences, $1 million, and lastly, medical payments, $5,000. Under the AIA 3.7, the permits, us, the GC, provide any permits for the building, demo, and grading, signage, driveways, and utility fees. Anything else, the owner pays any and all governmental impact fees such as traffic development and acreage. Warranty, we do warrant over the owner and architect that that materials and equipment furnishes under the contract will be in good condition and new unless the contract documents require otherwise. Anything other than that will be considered defective. For the overhead and profit for the contractor and subcontractor, this will be for any work performed, it will have a 15% overhead and profit markup of the cost completion from the construction cost, I'm sorry. And for the contractor, any work performed by any subcontractor will have a 7.5% of the amount due to the sub. I just want to go over under Article 8, we as a GC agree to execute work regularly, diligently, and uninterrupted to ensure substantial completion within the time specified and fully completed within a reasonable time thereafter. I am going to pass it on to Michael Schoen.
All right, now I'm going to jump a little bit into the means and methods of the project, starting off with our site plan. As here you can see in the top right, our job trailer denoted in green. We chose this location because it maintains the most constant grade throughout the duration of the project, as well as it is out of the way of almost everything in the project, except for maybe some curbage. And to the left there, you can see that yellow area that denotes some extra area for Connex storage or tool storage. Around the perimeter of the project in blue, you can see our fence and windscreen. This will be moved after the completion of the road to the right side of the road, and that is where it will remain for the duration of the project. as that road will be open. And the orange denotes our delivery loop. That is basically what will be Golf Links Drive and our parking lot. And that road will be able to have 18-wheelers turn around on it adequately. It also goes right past our laydown and staging area, which we will store all of our materials before they are put into the building and stage our crane. And then now we move on to our site work. We have to clear and grub 3.753 acres of moderately wooded area. Most of the trees are under 14 inches diameter and they can just be chipped up and hauled off. Anything bigger will have to be selectively cut down. After we finish our clearing and grubbing, we can move into our topsoil stripping and hauling, which consists of stripping the top 8 inches of soil off to get to a suitable building soil. All of this will be hauled off to Foxhole Recycling Center. It's a municipality-owned recycling center located on Lancaster Highway. It's a 13-mile round trip, around 20 minutes, I believe. And we factored that into our estimate and our schedule as well. And then we can begin trenching our utilities. We have 650 foot of gas line, 400 foot of water line, 340 foot of sanitary sewer line, as well as 820 foot of culvert pipe for the stormwater management system. And in doing this, the gas, water, and sanitary sewer will all be done with the chain trencher, along with 2 helpers or laborers. But the culvert pipe will be done with an excavator because the chain trencher that we specified for the other utilities only goes to 16 inches, which is not quite wide enough for a culvert, and we didn't want to have to dig out at all the joints or anything of that nature. And the excavator will also allow us to set our culvert basins with ease. So after we backfill all of our utilities, we're going to start setting the grade beam for Golf Links Drive in the parking lot, and then we're going to begin the excavation for our footings. Now moving on to the parking lot and roadway, we're going to begin with our curb and gutter after that final grade is set. The reason we do this is because the asphalt actually overlaps part of the curb. Therefore, the curb needs to be put in first. So after we do our curb and gutter, we're going to get to our 8-inch crushed stone underlay in both the parking lot and the roadway. And then we do our 4-inch base coat of both the parking lot and the roadway. And then the roadway will get an additional 1.5-inch lift of intermediate coat. And we are going to hold off on our finish coat until the construction process is almost completely complete. That way we can mitigate any damages that might happen to it. Moving on to our foundation phase 1, this consists of the footings. The footings will be formed. Excuse me. All right, the footings will be formed by a crew of 3 carpenters and 1 helper, and we will begin, and then we'll be followed by 4 rodmen who will set in place our reinforcing steel. Following that, the concrete will be poured by 2 finishers, 4 laborers, and 2 rodmen to set our anchor bolts in place. And then after the appropriate time has passed, we'll strip our forms and begin setting our grade for our slab and putting down our underlay for our slab. And then we will set our structural steel. For our structural steel, we have opted to use a T-Rex RT230, a 30-ton crane. It has more than enough lifting capacity to do even our largest member. Our largest steel member is around 3,000 pounds, and it should do that with ease. And then we're going to move on to our structural steel now. Our structural steel consists of 21 tons of structural steel. The reason we opted to do it before the slab is, as you can see from both of these details, the slab actually is poured around the structural steel. So therefore, all the steel needs to be in before that. And we are opting to put our beams in as well, because we don't want to find out that we did something wrong and have to tear out our slab. The steel will be erected by 1 foreman, 4 iron workers, 1 operator, 1 oiler, and the crane that I specified earlier. And it's broken down into 5 vertical frames. As you can see here on the left, that is vertical frame 1. They're all relatively similar to this frame. And then after our structural steel, we can actually get into our slab on grade, which will be done in 2 pours. The majority of the slab can be done in 1 day. That's that yellow pour. And then that second part, if we can't get that done the first day, we'll do that the second day. That is the reinforced slab that the vault will sit on. And following the pour of our slab and its cure time, we will set our vault in place using our crane as well. And then we're just racing to dry in the building itself. We're going to start with our light gauge steel framing. That consists of the first floor stud framing, and then we'll roll our joists out, do any knee walls that need to be done, set our trusses and rafters, and then we can start doing our sheathing and rigid insulation, And then we can start doing our actual finishes, such as the metal seam roof, the masonry, which will be done with 2 crews, so we can work on both sides of the building. And then we'll actually dry it in with our storefront and windows and all of our doors. After drying, we can start finishing out our building. We're going to start out with the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. We're going to get anything that needs to be in the wall done before we put our walls in, of course. And then we're going to start doing our walls, our ceiling covers, which consists of mostly drywall and drop tile ceiling grid. Then we can move on to our floor finishes after the walls have been painted and all the ceilings are in place, as to not damage any carpeting or anything, which is carpet square carpeting and ceramic tile in the bathrooms. Then we can move on to our plumbing fixtures and furnishings. We also have an ATM and a pneumatic tube feeding system that we need to put in, as well as the very large teller desk that needs to be put in. All right, so here's a look at our schedule. This is about half of the work. This just gives you a good idea of what our schedule looks like. We basically thought of this project as being 2 separate projects since it has 2 different due dates. The road and the parking lot, since they can mostly be done together, were thought of as one project, and then the actual building itself was thought of as another project. They branch off after we finish trenching our utilities. That's when we start kind of doing the road separately and the building separately. Before that, all the site work is done together. But now let's get into some of the actual dates on the schedule. So the start date is May 17th, 2021. Golf Links Drive will be completed in approximately 107 days, or September 3rd will be the completion date for that. But after allotting for weather, it'll be done September 10th, which still puts us under our September 10th, which still puts us under our limit. And total project completion will be in 284 days, or February 27th. But after allotting for rain, we put that date at March 11th, which is still under the contract specifications. All right, now getting into safety. We have a couple requirements for our subcontractors. They must undergo safety orientation the first time on site. We're going to do daily safety meetings that regard whatever hazards we might be facing that day. And we also have pre-task planning documents that they have to sign in and out on each day and give to management personnel. Subcontractors are also responsible for cleaning up after themselves. However, we do understand that that is not a realistic expectation in any way, shape, or form. So we will be providing some of that with laborers as well. As far as our responsibilities as the GC, we're responsible for procurement and upkeep of first aid equipment. And this includes our bleeding control kit, our AED, and just general first aid kits. We're going to keep those up to date and everything. We're also responsible for managing on-site safety through fire walks, through just job site walks and stuff of that nature, tagging out equipment when it's faulty. We're also responsible for keeping accurate and up-to-date records. That's with the pre-test planning that they're required to fill out. We'll keep that in our job trailer, just in case anyone needs to see any of that for any reasons, or if someone gets hurt and they need to see that. And we're also looking to ensure the safety of each individual on the job site via hazard mitigation, as opposed to first aid and PPE and stuff like that, with the implication of engineering controls and stuff of that nature. Which brings me to my next point, is that our job site will require all the required PPE for any job site, which is hard hat, safety vest, safety glasses, hearing protection, and gloves, unless around a rotating part. But we are going to be practicing a hierarchy of controls, which has to do with eliminating the hazard or removing it from even being an issue in the first place. So we do not have to rely on the PPE or the safeties of our tools and stuff of that nature.
All right, so I'm Chad Pruner, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the estimate for the SECU project. So you can see the overview on the screen right now. We broke it down into 12 main sections. Those include the foundation, the structural steel, the trusses and joists, the site work, asphalt paving, walls, openings, roof, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and interior finishes. So the total bare cost for this whole project was $2,152,967.28, and the total cost with our overhead and profit added was $2,685,044.67. Now I'm going to explain each section in further detail. These tables are most of what's included in the estimate, but a few are missing. So some of the numbers might not be 100% accurate. So for the foundation, we broke it up into different footing sizes and then calculate calculated the quantity of each. So we used 6 sections for the footing takeoff, including concrete, rebar, formwork, excavation, backfill, and hauling. Adding these 6 sections together, we get a total bare cost price of $13,108.42. When we added our markup of 31%, we got a total cost with overhead and profit of $31,387.95. So the structural steel, we split this into columns and beams. For this section, we converted each piece to weight in pounds. We added all the weights together to get a total poundage of steel. Once we converted the total bare cost price, that was equal to $34,294.50. We added a markup of 14% to get the total cost with overhead and profit to $38,926.58. The steel joists and rafters were broken down into linear feet of each different size of steel. We then multiplied by the cost per foot for each size of steel. We added in light gauge lentils to this section to get a total bare cost price of $33,827.84. We added a 30% markup to get the total cost with overhead and profit to $43,888.61. So our site work included 3 main sections, which were clearing, grading, and then outdoor utility installation. The clearing was calculated by acre, grading was based on cubic yards, and the utility installation was based per linear foot. Adding these all together, we can get a total bare cost for this section of $228,683.45. We added a 26% markup to get the total cost with overhead and profit to $288,740.17. The asphalt paving, we split up into Golf Links Drive and the parking lot. We took those off separately. We included curbing and sidewalks within this asphalt paving section. We estimated the cost using tons of stone and tons of asphalt coat, linear feet for curbing, and then square footage for sidewalks. The total bare cost for the asphalt paving was $309,941.39. We added a 20% markup to get the total cost with overhead and profit to $372,231.71. So the walls, we broke this down into metal studs, insulation, drywall, waterproofing, and masonry. We priced the metal studs based on linear feet, and then the insulation, drywall, waterproofing, and masonry were all done in square footage. The total bare cost for the walls was $177,944. Every markup for the materials were different in this section, but it averaged to about 35%, which made a total cost with overhead and profit of $240,176. So for our storefronts and openings, we split up exterior and interior storefront, and then we split up interior and exterior doors as well. For the storefront, we priced it based on aluminum framing and then the different types of glass. Doors were priced per quantity. The aluminum was priced by linear foot, and the glass was priced by square foot. The total cost for the openings and storefront, total bare cost, was $93,658.50. We added a markup of 50% to this section to get a total cost of, with overhead and profit, of $140,487.75. So for the roof, there's really 3 main components. The galvanized decking, the 3/4-inch plywood sheathing, and the metal seamed roof. And then we also added the spray foam insulation into this section. Most components were priced by square foot, but the metal seamed roof was priced per 100 square feet. The total bare cost was $373,272.79. We added an 18% markup to get the total cost with overhead and profit to $440,027.30. So for the electrical system, we priced this by the conduits and wires, and then electrical panels, fixtures, and outlets. So we calculated linear feet of conduit and wire that was needed, and then the quantity for the panels, fixtures, and outlets. This added up to a total bare cost price of $279,565. We added a 20% markup to this section to get the total cost with overhead and profit to $335,478. The HVAC, we split into ductwork, and then we had the components and the units. So we referenced the schedules on the drawings to make sure we didn't miss any of the components for this section. The ductwork was priced by pounds. The round prefab duct was priced per foot. And then the air handling units, the condensing units, the duct furnaces, and the exhaust fans and diffusers were all priced by quantity. This section added to a total bare cost price of $235,543. We added a markup of 20% to get the total cost with overhead and profit to $282,651.60. The plumbing, we split up into water/waste lines, and then we had plumbing fixtures. We priced the lines per linear foot, and the fixtures were priced by quantity. The total bare cost for this section was $24,917.40. We added a 25% markup, and the total cost for the plumbing with overhead and profit was $31,152.50. The interior finishes, we section these into floor finishes, wall finishes, ceiling finishes, and equipment finishes. The floor and wall coverings are all priced per square foot. The baseboards priced per linear foot, and then equipment by quantity. The total bare cost for the interior finishes was $299,232 with an average of a 19% markup. We got the total cost with overhead and profit for the interior finishes to be $396,154.
This is our calculated cash flow analysis. As you can see, the blue smooth line increasing represents the cumulative expenditures over time, essentially portraying the outflow of monies through direct and indirect costs. This is, you see the orange line has like a stair-oriented display. This represents the flow of money from the owner to the contractor in the form of progress payments. These estimates are based on evaluations of the percentage of total contract completion. And of course, these payments will be billed by the owner each month minus any retainage. And then this will be transferred to the or the contractor after 30 days. That concludes our capstone presentation for the SECU building in Charlotte, North Carolina. We thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed it.
You stop yours?
Yeah.